welcome to my next part from my series DevSecOps. My name is Sven Ruppert and I will show you how to harden the Vaadin framework with Artifactory and X-Ray. Vaadin is a web framework that will give you the possibility as a Java developer to write server-side code, and the output will be a web app based on web components. For this you need two stacks. You need the Java stack and the npm managed stack based on JavaScript, HTML5, and altogether it's a specification of web components. Vaadin is an open source framework, so this is why I'm choosing this one, and it's complex enough so that we can see how many dependencies you have to manage an eye on and what vulnerabilities are available. I want to say at this point that this is just a snapshot of today. So what will be known tomorrow about vulnerabilities at Vaadin, or what is changed tomorrow, can be completely different. So if you want to have an actual view on this, just do this by yourself again based on a free trial with Artifactory and X-Ray to scan your Vaadin framework. Okay, what do we need for this? We need two applications, and I'm using just the default applications that you can generate on the Vaadin homepage. You can generate them with the actual current version. In my case, it's version 16, and you can generate the long-term support version based on Vaadin 14. I'm analyzing here these two versions, and we will see what we can do as a developer to minimize the known vulnerabilities or the security risk based on the known vulnerabilities. And for this, what you need is a trial of Artifactory and X-Ray. You need the base project generated by the Vaadin page and an IDE to work on for sure. And I will show you how to do all this stuff. If you want to have a little bit more information about how to create a Maven repository in Artifactory, or how to connect your IDE to the X-Ray instance, I created separate videos on this one, and I will give you the link down in the description or here or there. Let's see. Okay, let's have a look at the Vaadin stack. So for this we need Artifactory and X-Ray. The easiest way, if you don't have already access to it, is going to JFrog Artifactory/free-trial, and here you can start a free trial, a 14-day trial in the cloud with no credit card information or on-prem. I personally would recommend going to the cloud because it's the easiest one. You can ramp it up in approximately 10 minutes, and you have to choose if it should run on AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. I'm just going with AWS, and for me personally, I'm selected Frankfurt. What you need is username, password, a name for your server, and then first name, last name, email, and so on. So that's it. Then press proceed, and you will get an email in 10 minutes with all the credentials you need to connect to your instance with this name you selected here, .jfrog.io. Okay. During the time this instance will be created, you can go to the Vaadin page, vaadin.com, and on the build get started, you will get the possibility to create some Hello World projects. So what I've created for this example is a Vaadin 14, the long-term support version, but just plain Java, just the minimum version we can have, then download. And after this, Vaadin 16, the latest one, and again, have in mind you have to switch back to plain Java. They are just switching it back to Spring Boot, I don't know why. And then download again. So you have now two zip files, and both you can extract in different folders, and in every folder you will be able to find POM.xml. My version is here based the Vaadin 14.3.1, and on the 16 version is 16.01. I'm going back to the long-term support version first. So what you have to do is after you got the credentials for your Artifactory and X-Ray trial, you have to create a Maven repository that's a virtual Maven repository that's combining different remote repositories. For example, what you need, one is access to the Maven Central and to the Vaadin pre-release repository. So I'm just added both to my libs-release, my virtual repository, that's including this repository as well as this repository, so I can delete the second definition of it. How to create Maven repositories, virtual repositories, and to connect with the IDE plugin, I showed in a different YouTube tutorial. So check out my YouTube channel, HowTo-Nerd, or check the links below so that you are able to find these tutorials. As a short recap, here you can add the JFrog plugin, and after this just connect to your instance with your username and password, and then you have the information from X-Ray available inside your IDE. So otherwise nothing changed here. You will find here this Maven dependency and some additional stuff they added. So this is not changed. I will focus here on the Vaadin dependency first. So if you have the information from the Maven inside your IDE, you can start the JFrog plugin. And here you will see the project. What I'm totally ignoring right now is NPM world, the JavaScript world. So this is a dedicated YouTube tutorial. So I will focus here just on the Java world, but the principle or the way to do or the way to go is exactly the same. So here, the Java world. I'm checking here the Vaadin dependency, for example. Inside the Vaadin dependency, I will see different sub-dependencies or transitive dependencies. I will ignore the commercial here right now. I'm just going to the open source one, the Vaadin core. And inside the Vaadin core, I have the dependency to Flow Server. And inside Flow Server, for example, I have the issue with HTTP client in this version. What I see here is that this version, here's a short summary of the CVSS or this vulnerability entry, and what you can see is there is already the fixed version 4.5.3 release candidate 1. What you can do here with the plugin, you can first say show me in this descriptor. It will lead you here to the Vaadin dependency because it's a transitive dependency, and then very convenient you can say exclude dependency. With this the dependency is excluded, but now you have to add it by yourself. What I'm personally doing is I have this section called fixed or fix. Then I'm adding here the dependency I excluded and add the new version. And mostly I'm just using the latest one. So if you have a good test coverage, everything is fine because you're just running all tests, and you know that the API is compatible and the functionality is still available as well. Here in this example, we have no test coverage, so I'm just adding the dependency because I'm focusing on this dependency management. So then after this one, we are reading the Maven dependency again, so that X-Ray is aware of this change. This is, I have to reload it because I deactivated the automatic reload. If you have an automatic reload, this is then you don't have to do it manually. So going back here to the dependency tree, so Vaadin, okay, Vaadin core and Vaadin server, and this HTTP client recommendation is not available, so this one is solved. But have in mind, this one, this HTTP client, can have security issues as well, and it is exactly here because here they are working with an old commons codec and there is a fixed version available. So what we are doing here is just going exclude dependency, this time from this here, from the HTTP client, and again I'm adding a dependency. I'm using the latest version because it's just what I'm doing. And then I'm reloading the definition and checking if it is gone. So, and here we are. This one is solved. There are some other things. For example, if you're going here into the Vaadin core, you will see sometimes that, for example, the commons IO, there is a newer version available. So I think it's 2.7 already. but it's not marked as a fixed version so far. The 2.6 definitely is not including the fix. The 2.7 is maybe including the fix. I haven't checked the release notes so far because the fix is already existing. So this is a strange thing here with this project. The fix is existing since a long time. We are talking about months, not only weeks, but it was not included into a release until, I don't know, I checked it last week or so. So maybe it's in the 2.7 and then not marked as fixed already, or it's not included. I don't know. So this you have to check. But you will come to this point that you have sometimes no fixed version, and then it really depends what you want to do. If you want to go to an older version, for example, if this is possible, and then no security issue, or you're just waiting or making this dependency explicit or whatever. So you have to deal with this anyway. So this was for the Vaadin 14. So we had just a few. And the surprising thing is that in the Vaadin 16, you have a lot of security issues. So for example, here the original one is just going up to 123 security issues, and the most is really inside Vaadin and inside Vaadin core. So not in the commercial part, it's really in the open source part, inside the Vaadin server. And what you have an eye on is mostly everything that is dealing with serialization stuff. And here the bad boy is just the Jackson data binding, or the whole Jackson data binding family here. And then you have to do exactly the same. So you start with excluding, adding the next one, checking this one, and so on. So I've done this. So I created 2 repositories on GitHub. I will give you the link here down in the description. And then you can just use this one for your own, or just grab your own project and start analyzing it. Yeah, that's it so far from the screencast. And yeah, again, have in mind that this is just a snapshot of today. So maybe tomorrow you will have a new version of Vaadin and a lot of stuff fixed, or maybe you have more security issues reported. So you never know. This is something you really have to check on a regular basis. And yeah, just try it by yourself. We saw how we can work against the security issues based on Artifactory and X-Ray database so that we can analyze our tech stack. For this example, I worked with Maven, but it's the same if you're working with NPM or other dependency management technologies. So have in mind that the workflow is always the same. Identify the dependency, replace them by dependencies with less security issues, and hopefully they are compatible with your application. That means quality is always your best friend, even if you're working in the field of security, because changing dependencies and then testing or verifying with a good test coverage is always good. So far, I would like to have you as my subscriber, and I would really appreciate for a thumbs up. I will give way more sessions here on this series, DevSecOps, but I have other ones like TDD Extreme about JUnit 5 or about functional reactive in core Java. So to get all the new informations, I have a mailing list because I'm giving free talks, I'm giving free webinars and all this. And if you're subscribing my mailing list, you are one of the first that are able to grab a free slot at these events as well. So, see you. Today, we want to see how to create your own test engine for JUnit 5. That means in the beginning, we will have a short introduction about the possibilities of the default test engine. The agenda for today. Why we need Debian repositories, what's influence and what part of your infrastructure is. The next thing is why you should have an eye on it. What will this series about? It will be about functional reactive. And this for core Java means since Java